What's up guys? We are going to do the ramp rack review. We've now had these things for about a year almost. So some of you have been asking how they've been going, what have we learned, etc. So let me go ahead and show you around the ramp rack. If you haven't watched the previous video that we shot last year when we first got them, check those out. We made one kind of doing a more in-detail walk around, as well as Lee doing one on the installation process. So check those out. But today is just really kind of a recap on our experience with them. So if you haven't seen the ramp rack before, basically it allows you to get into the back of the bed of the truck. You don't have to use trailers, etc. So we've used these all across the country, not only at our franchise locations, but at our corporately owned locations. So we have these in North Carolina, we have them in New York, as well as Washington State at our corporate locations. So what's nice is the spring-loaded ability of the back rack, or back ramp, I should say, to be able to get in and out. It's really, really easy. Like you can literally pick this up with a couple fingers. It's not like super heavy, which again is nice. On a regular trailer, what we always found is they have those little cords that coil up on both sides of the ramp. But whenever you're moving zero turns in and out or big mowers, those would get caught and they would break, and we were always like re-wrapping them on the spring coil and all the rest of it. So this thing's pretty hardy, and honestly, if it broke, like my goodness, I don't know what you have to do. Like it's pretty intense. But what we use these bad boys mostly for is for push mowers here at the local shop. So at the local shop, we use 30-inch X-Mark mowers. Some of our franchisees use the Toro, Time Masters, etc. But what we use this for here in the back, we had to custom make this. They are available on Amazon for you to purchase, but they were just too like skinny and flimsy. So we actually ended up welding these and fabricating these ourselves, and they worked really good. What you do is you just put the tire in sideways, the mower in sideways, and then this locks the front wheel in place, so that way the mower doesn't move back and forth. The X-Mark 30X mowers do have a parking brake, but we just found like if someone forgot it, or even with it on, it could still slide around with this being wet. So we have these, they lock right in place. We just bolt them right down to the wire mesh here, and it works really good. At our other locations that we have in New York and North Carolina, etc., we do use zero turns. A lot of people are like, oh, I could never use that because I need like a 48-inch mower. Well, you can get a 48-inch mower in here. Let me show you a little bit here. So as long as you can get your deck in between these, you're good to go. We've only seen 48s fit in here, but one of our franchisees out in Tennessee said they actually got a 52-inch mower in if you actually dented these wheel wells in. We don't really recommend doing that very much, maybe an inch or two, but you are kind of like damaging the bed of the truck when you do that. But you can technically get a 52 in here, and it really depends on the truck too. So what I'd recommend doing is measure between these wheel wells and see what you're gonna be able to get inside here. So for example, I know for a fact I can get a 36-inch between these and pull the mower all the way to the front. I'm not gonna be able to get like a 48-inch mower through here because it's gonna be rubbing up against the side here. But what's nice is back here, the deck can sit. Right, so the deck can sit back here, and that's why you still have so much more room, because your back tires of your stand-on mower or zero turn can be on the back of the ramp here. So you can still definitely like last week we posted a video on TikTok, and like there's a whole bunch of questions. The biggest one is like, I can't get big equipment on it. Okay, you can get up to 52 inches, and you can have the deck be back here, or if you go like 36 inches, you can get all the way to the front of the bed here with a 36, for example. Another thing people always ask about is debris. So the nice thing about having the push mower is literally we aren't even using any of the bed of the truck, because this is all extension of the ramp rack. And so the wheel locks in place here, and then you literally have the entire bed for debris, etc. So they're about to use this truck for today. They already got an extra sprayer and bins and all the rest of it. This is where the debris would go though, and then the push mower here. Now the downside of the ramp rack is if you do have a zero turn and it's sitting on the back here and taking a bunch of space, you don't have much space for debris, and those clippings are gonna fly in the face of your mower, which kind of stinks. Getting the debris out, again, it's not like you have a dump bed. Again, we're going for simplicity here. It is a pain to have to yes, you're gonna have to shovel out clippings. That is a pain in the neck. We've seen some people put an insert where they have the tarp system where they can just do the whole wheel thing and then move the debris off the back here, but still it is a bit of a pain just to get it all off, and the guy will just blow off this mesh at the end of the day to get all the debris, the clippings, etc. off. So those are kind of some of the major drawbacks, I would say, is the fact that your debris sits here and usually your mower is behind it, so debris is flying in the face of that. The fact that, again, you're going to be limited somewhat by the size of mower that you do bring on this truck. And when you bring a bigger mower, now you gotta start thinking about suspension. For us, we don't have to worry about it because our mowers are light. This is relatively light, like this is pretty light stuff. But if you get like a 50-inch zero-turn mower on here, now you gotta start thinking about, like, do your springs and your suspension gonna be able to sustain that over the course of several years, all that wear and tear. So you might have to put some, I'm not by any means inclined when it comes to trucks and stuff, but you could definitely probably gonna put, like, I don't know, blocks, or some people like the airbag things for the suspension. That would definitely help. Leaf springs, I don't even know what they're called, but upgrading that might be necessary if you are going to be getting a bigger piece of equipment in the back here. The other downside of these is the fact that, and people mentioned this in the video last time, is storage of these. And it's totally true, and that is, if you don't have inside storage, like, we don't want to have to build a massive shop where we park our trucks inside, simply because it's going to be really expensive. It's not lean, it's hard to find, it's expensive real estate to be able to get a hold of. And so what we'd rather do is just find basically a big gravel parking area. This is what we found at all our corporate locations, is big open gravel parking area for the trucks and all the rest of it, and then just have these sitting outside. The downside is if I have a big mower in the back here, as you can see right now, there is no mower here because we actually store them inside of these bins. So for those of you who are worried about storage, we put it inside these bins here. We have 1, 2, 3 of these big 40-foot containers, and this is where we can store the mowers at night. And so same thing, if you have a zero-turn, you can just open this thing up and park your mowers in here at night. Again, this is really, really lean. Like, yes, it's nicer to have a big roll-up storage and all the rest of it, and in our new headquarters, we'll probably have one of those kind of big bays. But if you're looking for lean and efficient, definitely this is a great option. A 40-foot container, you get them in 20-foot containers as well, if space is limited for you. But you can put it on a parking, gravel open area, park all your trucks, and at night, all you have to do is put the mower inside of here. It's still easier than backing up a trailer. It's still easier than trying to get your employees every morning to back up and get the hitch correctly aligned on the ball and all the rest of it. So that's kind of a quick review. Some of the downsides, the pros and the cons. Definitely the pros is the fact that bad boy, I put a mower on it and it's ready to roll. There's no trailers. It's only, maybe 20 feet long instead of 40 feet by the time I get like a 18, 20-foot trailer on here. It's much more difficult to drive, takes up a lot more space, etc. So definitely a great option for you if you want to think about doing a trailerless setup. We've had a great experience with it so far. There's definitely downsides though. The installation process is not great. We have to drill those holes to get those racks on there, and that was not fun. If you're like me and you're not good with tools, might be a little more difficult for you. Maybe take it to a fab shop, take it to a mechanic that can drill the holes real quick for you so you can put the racks on the side. That's a downside. The downside of storage and having equipment outside, another downside. Debris, you don't have a ton of space for debris, or like 3 zero-turn mowers are not gonna fit on that. So there's definitely a place for these, definitely not for everyone. Big commercial spots, big massive jobs that you're doing where you need big 60-inch zero-turns and multiple people and all the rest of it, a bunch of debris, probably not the best option for you. So there's kind of the review of the ramp rack. We've had it for about 12 months. We use it all across the country, and we look forward to making more of them. Copy and paste.
Okay, so very simply, we give them quotes for the job. We define the scope of work, and if the scope of work is completed, we give them the price for that, right? So if everything is done according to the scope of work in the estimate, time doesn't matter. That's how we present it to the client. And if you think about it, on the flip side, if we showed up and it took them 7 hours, we would charge them the same amount.
Yes.
We bid by the job and we charge for that work. The scope of work is really the only thing that matters. As long as that is done accurately, we will bill them for that. So time is one small variable for a job.
Right.
So if you want to share your 100% answer, that's...
No, that was good. But the follow-up, though, the part with that is the fact that they knew the hours. That's a mistake on the franchisee's part.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, we can't necessarily control
that.
The franchisees.
Yeah. But it would definitely be a follow-up conversation. Yeah. Because even the canned response of about the hours, the client knows we're now billing based upon hours to some degree. Mm-hmm. So it needs to be clear the franchisees and estimator, we never share budget hours, because you're just disarming the employees who are trying to go as fast as possible. Yeah. And it's like you said, and you can tell them on the phone, if it would have taken them 5 times as long, you would have been charged the same amount. And that starts to make more sense in their mind. It's like, I'm not changing the estimate. It's not like an estimate, it's a quote, really, right? And that's why even the word estimate I don't like a whole lot, because it makes it like, oh, we're just kind of guessing. It's like, no, that's the number unless you change something, right? So Yeah, it would be a follow-up conversation, I think, with a franchisee too. They're like, hey, don't tell, and then the guys on the field too. Sometimes they'll be like, oh wow, we got 4 hours for this job, and the client's like, oh, okay, great, and then they leave in an hour, and then that's when they're calling. So that's the employee's fault, and like I'd be like, hey, you should go back and spend your 4 hours since you told them that. So yeah. All right, we just left Command Center, head over to the contractors that are building Reset, and looking over the plans, designs, estimates. It's gonna be very bad. Cost of everything's going up. But right now, I'm hopping on a conference call with our attorney and our Stanwood Camino Island franchisee that's signing right now. The actual signing of the franchise agreement only literally takes like 5 minutes. But I have to call in, then we docu-sign it over the phone. Usually I do it in my office, but here we go. Mike here, how you guys doing? Awesome. So this is the franchise agreement signing. So it's really just kind of a formality. We sign it and actually give the license for them to start up.
You can start, I'll just give you both the same speech, which is there's a bunch of questions, a lot of yeses, a lot of nos. A lot of signatures. Actually on this one, 2 sets of initials, because the map is on the second page. And then a bunch of yes-no questions. If Mike and I have done our jobs right, and I know Mike has, all of the answers should always be yes. Obviously, you should answer honestly, but they should all be yes. Okay, sounds good.
So yesterday you saw me in the vlog. I was doing a Zoom call with potential franchisees out of Tampa Bay, and they just emailed me right now saying they're going to go forward with it. So that's pretty cool. They'll be starting next spring, but I'll try to fill in some of the gaps as days go on. So you can kind of see as people join and things. So we're signing for these folks. They're going to be starting in a couple months, and this is the actual agreement signing. And then the process was kind of just finished up as well with Tampa Bay, Florida. So moving forward. Okay, now time to reset into Reset. Let's go. So that is the fun of having all the businesses, is changing from one business to the other and your whole mindset. So like we just switched from, that was our 39th closing with our 40th just committing for Augusta Lawn Care. This morning I had to go do the bunch of bank stuff for Blaine Anytime Fitness because of the SBA loan. And now we're driving into contractor to finalize the project at Reset Mind and Body. If you haven't checked it already, there's going to be a link down below that shows a little bit of the mission and what we're doing at Reset Mind and Body. Basically a lot of biohacking, things like ice tubs, saunas, red light therapy, float tank, all that good stuff. Just trying to do meditation, yoga, stuff like that. But now we got to figure out paying the bills for the construction job. Hey, how's it going? This is Danny. Don't mind him. He's just doing a video for me.
The acoustical ceiling will come into here, hit the bottom of that,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna jump up to above those upper windows.
All right, then we're looking at shower doors. We're gonna have a shower door here, 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 and here.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm giving you an allowance of $1,600 for the shower doors.
Okay. All right.
Well, I might be able to get inspection before all the equipment.
That's I think what they're counting on.
Yeah.
So all it means is,
Yeah.
if you're telling me that Alan's the guy we're using,
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, send a price over for showers. You can follow up with him too. So.
No, I'll give a call.
Yeah.
So best case scenario, permit comes, like how long do you think it before we able to get going? I know it's all depending on stuff.
Well, once permit's here, then we can get going.
Okay, what's that look like? We're crossing our fingers and hoping there's.
I see this thing maybe 3-month project.
Yeah, that's what
Under construction.
Yeah, that's what we anticipated.
Yeah.
But now it's just a matter of waiting for the permit.
Yeah, and that's the hardest time.
Okay. Which has already
Waiting.
been what, 3 weeks?
Waiting.
It's been, what do we got?
What's annoying is now I'm
3.5
rent.
weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Chuck. I appreciate it.
You bet. Pleasure.
$250,000. All right, so we left Credo Construction. The budget for the project is $249,084. I think something right around that. So a lot more than I was hoping. We're gonna cut out some costs with the tile and go to luxury vinyl plank. And I get about $60,000 of that back from the landlord, and I get 6 months free rent. So the goal is to get above break even within those 6 months of free rent. And yeah, just a lot of money. But I know two things. One, I was just telling Danny this. One is it's a passion project. I'm really passionate about mental health and that sort of thing. I want to do it no matter what. Two is if it does really well, I could franchise it just like we have with Augusta, and it does better in the winter and would correspond really well with landscaping in terms of being able to have both a landscaping company and a reset mind and body. But that's definitely on the road. Right now I want to prove the concept, try to build it for cheaper than $250,000, and just, yeah, proof of concept. So right now we're back at Command Center. 5 p.m. we have a round table Zoom meeting with all of our franchisees and managers. And so there'll probably be about 50 or so people on that tonight. And we'll go over some of the updates, things we're working on at the franchise, and just kind of bring everyone up to speed on what's going on. So I have 30, 40 minutes here to get ready for it. And I have all my slides ready, but there's one part I gotta like pound out real fast. But Dan will get a little bit of that and then call it a day. But thank you so much before we head to the round table. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate Danny for making these great vlogs the past few days. See you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. It should be about 20, 30 minutes. I want to kind of bring everyone up to update on a few things, and then we will jump into some Q&A. So Lee, if you could just let anyone who's in the waiting room in, I'd appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. We'll go ahead and get started. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So hiring, I know for about, right now what I'm seeing is about half of our franchisees are so busy right now, they cannot, they're literally telling us at Command Center to stop taking estimates. But let's focus on hiring because for so many of you, this is the struggle. So some of these things I'm gonna mention.